Shalom, shalom, shalom. Call hello Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors, of course, go out to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who through the Holy Spirit continue to teach us this knowledge, wisdom. All right, this is Naaman with the DC camp, and wouldn't you know, all right, for those of you that haven't caught on, I don't know where you've been the last, almost 20 years. The beginning of, well, it actually started in 93. Things didn't go as well as planned, so they waited 8 years or so. And when 9/11 happened in 2001, that's when shit started to erode as far as your rights. All right. And they're taking it even more. Now the thing, if you notice, we've had this incidents of spree shootings, gun violence just in general, and it seems to spring up. It'll take a break and it'll spring up again. And lately, as of today, and today is, it's early morning, March 30th. Okay, so yeah, they just had a couple of more. All right, I mean, just spring up out of nowhere. I don't know if it's, Manchurian Candidate style or these are actual operations, but in any case, this is one of these decisions that are coming down. Now, whether this sticks, who knows? This is the Ninth Circuit Court. All right, this is from KTSA. Lars Larson is the writer, and it says, you see the sign here, no firearms allowed on this property. All right, and he says, I'll bet you thought that your constitutional rights applied everywhere. Funny thing, I did too. He says only the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco says they don't. And that's why he's going to tell you why he calls it the circus. He says, I call it the circus court because the Supreme Court, which holds the final say on all things constitutional, overturns the wacky decisions of the Ninth more frequently than any other court in America. True to form, yesterday the Ninth Circuit ruled that your Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms only applies inside your home. And this has been the subject of debate for years and years and years, just what the Second Amendment is really saying. All right. It goes on to say, step outside and your rights evaporate, at least according to the Ninth. The majority opinion of the court says citizens, at least those unlucky enough to live in the 9 western states where the Ninth holds sway, have no constitutional right to carry a gun for self-defense. Now, this is strange because, come on now, he said the 9 states where the Ninth holds sway. Let's just see where exactly. All right, let me drum up a new, let's see, Ninth Court of Appeals jurisdiction. All right, let's see what it says. All right, Ninth Court of Appeals. All right, Ninth Circuit. All right, it says the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, all right, is a federal court of appeals that has appellate jurisdiction over the district courts in the following districts. All right, District of Alaska, Arizona, California, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, Oregon, and East and Western Districts of Washington. Wow. There to go. Yeah. So now, my question to you, who do you think makes up the majority? Now, you got California. Let's exclude that because we all know, hey, California. But who do you think? Come on now, Nevada, New Mexico. I mean, come on now. I said no, New Mexico, Nevada, Idaho, Oregon, yeah, Arizona. Come on now, Idaho. You got all these ranchers and stuff out there. That's my point. You're talking about guns, 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 guns. So this is what they're coming after. The point that I'm trying to make here. All right, and they usually say things start on the left coast and work their way right back east. Okay. Wow. So then I got to thinking also, well, let's just look at the Second Amendment here. It says the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Such language has created considerable debate regarding the amendment's intended scope. All right. Now, for you Jakes, we all know that the nation of Edom, the descendants of Esau, we know that their blessing is the sword. All right. And deceit goes along with that. They are evil incarnate, meaning evil in the flesh. All right. But you Jakes, all right, you want to rub elbows with them? And let's face it, you want to be like them. And a lot of you think that those rights extend to you. And first of all, we do not have any rights. We have privileges. All right. Another thing, if you're not paying attention to, you notice these cases such as take what happened here in the district with the breaking into the Capitol, United States Capitol, all right, ransacking it, you know, crapping on the floors and rubbing it all over the place. I mean, just being, when we say trailer park, that's, you know, wow. I mean, wow. But yet and still, it's becoming apparent that they might get light sentences. That's going to be my next video. Just to let you know. Just stay, try to stay abreast of that, as am I. But for you Jakes out there, and I got to say, let's go to the scriptures. You just, hey, I got to get it. All right. Let's go down to 12. This is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 12. It says, therefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise his word, which you do, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon. All right? Our people all in marching for Black Lives Matter have no idea what that really is about. It ain't got nothing to do with their moniker is Black Lives Matter. No. That's for LGBTQ and whatever else the letter is. They trying to get P in there for pedophile. All right. I mean, this is just a freak show. But our people just, like it says, you know, you trust in oppression and perverseness. All right. It says 13. Therefore, this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out on the high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. All right. You trying to, I guess a way to say it is keep up with the Edomites as opposed to the Joneses. All right. A lot of you going to be in for the big letdown. You know, I'm talking about the ones that they were all told, and we, you know, we came up with that. True. All right. But all praises, call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, you know, took us up out of that mindset. All right. And that mindset being this right here. This is what we look for now. This is Isaiah 51 and 14. It says the captive, wait a minute. Yeah. The captive exile hasteneth that he may be loose. We want to get the hell up out of here. It's nothing. This was not designed for our benefit. None of it was. All right. Who cares if you got guns? It's not going to save you in the end. There's all kind of scriptures on that. That's Esau's blessing that's getting ready to be taken away. It's not going to save him. His money is not going to save him. All right. Nothing. He's done. What's happening now is an attempt, and this is just the beginning, is an attempt on his behalf to try to stay in power and rule over us. He knows, at least the upper echelons of them, the elites, they know they've got the nation of Israel in captivity. You think they want to give that up? You know how how much it's made them rich? All these centuries, you think they want to give that up? Oh no, they're going to fight tooth and nail to stay in power. All right? That's why Amos 9, chapters 9, verses 1 and 2, you know, and even after the things that they're about to witness and getting their asses kicked and handed to them by Yahweh Shai, when he gets the word to come back, even after all this, they are not going to repent. There is no repentance for Esau Edom, for you so-called Christians. All right? You modern day Christians, because the original Christians are Israelites and are still only Israelites. All right? Let me read that again. It says, Isaiah chapter 51, verse 14, the captive exile hasteneth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit. This system, another word for that is pit. All right? This is what we're in. And they want to make sure we stay in it. All right? Nor that his bread should fail. Let's go back to 30. And 12. Let me read it again. It's Isaiah chapter 30, verse 12. It says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise his word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. All right? And he shall break it as the breaking of the potter's vessel that is broken in pieces. All this mess is going to be broken up. All right? He shall not spare, so that there shall not be found in the bursting of it a sherd to take fire from the hearth, or to take water withal out of the pit. All right? When this goes down, you do not want to go down with it. Pray that you do not. All right? That's why we seek salvation. All right? Let's see, where did I leave off? Yeah. Let's see. It says, on the other hand, some scholars point to the prefatory language, a well-regulated militia, to argue that the framers intended only to restrict Congress from legislating away a state's right to self-defense. Scholars have come to call this theory the collective rights theory. A collective rights theory of the Second Amendment asserts that citizens do not have an individual right to possess guns, and that local, state, and federal legislative bodies therefore possess the authority to regulate firearms without implicating a constitutional right. But see, that's the Edomites. All right, even if it did imply that, well, they're going to change it to what they want it to be anyway. So why invest emotionally into anything that this devil puts together and calls it a law? All right, these scriptures, this is our constitution as a nation. This is what we're trying to get our people to come back to. But people like Vocab and others, all right, want to keep you on that plantation that's called Christianity. All right. It says 1939, the U.S. Supreme Court considered the matter in United States v. Miller. The court adopted a collective rights approach in this case, determining that Congress could regulate a sawed-off shotgun that had moved in interstate commerce under the National Firearms Act of 1934, because the evidence did not suggest that the shotgun has some reasonable relationship to the preservation or efficiency of a well-regulated militia. Then, and that's lasted for 70 years up until what's happening now here in the district. It says this president stood for nearly 70 years when in 2008 the U.S. Supreme Court revisited the issue in the case of District of Columbia v. Heller. The plaintiff and Heller challenged the constitutionality of the Washington, D.C. handgun ban, a statute that had stood for 32 years. Many considered the statute the most stringent in the nation. In a 5-4 decision, the court, meticulously detailing the history and tradition of the Second Amendment at the time of the Constitutional Convention, proclaimed that the Second Amendment established an individual right for U.S. citizens to possess firearms and struck down the D.C. handgun ban as violative of that right. Now, what else is going on, for those of you that are unaware, there is heavy gentrification here in the District of Columbia. It has been going on for quite a few years now. All right. I remember those old battles with Representative or Congressman Davis out of Virginia, even going back to when Mayor Barry was, Marion Barry was mayor here. All right. But the thing is, with all these Edomites moving back in, now there's been another big push to get voting rights, as far as having a representative that can actually vote, all right, which we don't have. That's why you see license plates, for those of you that have seen them, say taxation without representation, all right, which citizens of the district do not have. So, since they're getting all of our people out, pushing them out through gentrification, all right, and now you're starting to see things come into place. And that's why I say, why would you, knowing what's happening, all right, and this place is getting ready to be blown the F up, all right, why? Just do what you got to do, all right, take care of your business as you should, all right, and continue to pray, study, all right, these scriptures, and keep sending up prayers for this place to be done away with as quickly as possible, all right, because what's happening now, this man is perfecting as much as he can, all right, his craft, all right, and this is a whole nother video, but he's trying to make us even more of a slave than what we were, all right, with the shot, and there's so many videos popping up now. These doctors are finally, more of them are growing a spine, and they're coming out and saying, this is BS, all right, and then you got more of a push, therefore, for the ones that are ruling over us, they're trying to get this New World Order set up quickly, all right. It goes on to say, it says, thus the Supreme Court has revitalized the Second Amendment. The court continued to strengthen the Second Amendment through the 2010 decision in McDonald v. City of Chicago. The plaintiff, in that case McDonald, challenged the constitutionality of the Chicago handgun ban, which prohibited handgun possession by almost all private citizens. In a 5-4 decision, the court, citing the intentions of the framers and ratifiers of the 14th Amendment, held that the Second Amendment applies to the states through the incorporation doctrine. However, the court did not have a majority on which clause the 14th Amendment incorporates. All right, now I'll leave this for you to go in more, because it's just telling me that they're going to do what they want to do. Ultimately, the feds trump state, so whatever. They're coming after your guns. That's all right. They don't want that kind of resistance when they make their move. Let's see. It goes into the dissenting judges. Let's see. Judge, how do you say his name? Dermond O'Scanlan, one of the few sane members of the court, that's Ninth Circuit, points out, we now become the first and only court of appeals to hold that public carry falls entirely outside the scope of the amendment's protections. He adds that this decision reduces the right to bear arms to, a mere ink blot. All right, you have to applaud Judge O'Scanlan for keeping his sanity while serving in the cuckoo's nest of the ninth. Let's hope the Supreme Court overturns this fast. No, I don't. I hope it stays. I really do. But, hey, prophecy must be fulfilled. And we know that 2nd Ezra's chapters 15 and 16, they're going to happen. All right? In fact, I'm going to close out with that because, like I say, prophecy must be fulfilled. And this is what we're hoping for. Please, we want to get the hell up out of here. 15. Let's go down to 14. And this is Ezra's. Several prophets, when they got these visions of the future, they got physically ill. And he's one of them. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destructive draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Modern day swords, all right, guns. You're not going to see nobody running down the street with a samurai sword or, No, you're not going to last very long, all right? For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. All right, now we know what's going on with this pandemic, but also there's going to be lots of violence. All right, for because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Bottom line. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, to go that sword again, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Because this thing with this pandemic and all this, wearing a mask, your obedience mask, this is all about control of the people, all right? And soon it's going to be, they're already seeing prices go up, all right? And you're seeing less and less of things that were normally stocked. All right, so yeah, time's gonna get worse. Like Revelation 13 and 16 says, and he shall cause them all, both small and great. You got to pay particular attention to that word cause. All right, what is he gonna do in order to cause you to accept? All right, or another word to use would be compel. All right, how is he gonna compel you to do this? Something against your will. All right, and this is a choice that you have to make. There's nothing that he can force on you. You have to want to do it. In other words, there's going to be a point at which this wicked ass Edomites are going to try to force you to choosing between the Most High and him. Who's going to be your God? And that's what it's coming down to. All right, so with that, I went way over. Again, trying to take these guns. We'll see how this holds up. Because like I say, time is growing short. This devil is trying to get his agenda pushed forth and set up his new world order. All right, so with that, I hope whoever views this is edified. That's what we try to do here, Great Millstone. All right, because in the end, this is about waking up the remaining hopeful elect. So with that, shalom.